This is the story of a crooked tree that lived in a quiet forest. Every morning, it looked at the tall, straight trees reaching proudly toward the sky. Birds built their nests on those trees, and travelers stopped to admire them. But no one ever stopped to look at the little crooked tree. The crooked tree looked at its bent trunk and quietly whispered, "I wish I could be like them." The tall trees heard those words and laughed. One tree said, "Look at you. You will never grow tall." Another tree smiled proudly and said, "No one will ever admire a tree like you." The crooked tree said nothing. It simply stood there, listening to every word. As the seasons passed, those words stayed deep in its heart. One sunny morning, a family of birds flew into the forest, looking for a place to build a nest. They looked at the tallest trees first, but the branches were too high, and the wind was too strong. Then a small bird landed on the crooked tree. Its wide, curved branches made a safe little place. "This feels warm," the mother bird said. "We will build our home here." The crooked tree could not believe it. For the first time, someone had chosen it. A few days later, tiny baby birds were born. Every morning, their happy songs filled the forest. The crooked tree smiled inside. For the first time in its life, it felt useful. But the tall trees still laughed. "It is only a few birds," they said. "That does not make you special." The crooked tree stayed quiet. It no longer wanted to argue. One autumn morning, a group of woodcutters entered the forest. The tall trees stood proudly. "Now everyone will see how valuable we are," one tree said. The woodcutters carefully looked at every tree. "This one is perfect. Mark this one, and that one too." Soon, bright red marks appeared on the tallest and straightest trees. Then they stopped in front of the crooked tree. One woodcutter looked at it and shook his head. "This tree is too crooked," he said. "It is not useful for building. Leave it." The woodcutters walked away. The crooked tree felt sad. Not even they wanted me, it thought. A few days later, the sound of axes echoed through the forest. One by one, the marked trees fell to the ground. The forest became quiet. The birds that had lived in those trees flew through the sky, searching for a new home. Many of them found the crooked tree. Its branches welcomed them all. Soon it was filled with nests. Winter arrived. Cold winds rushed through the forest. The crooked tree bent with every strong wind, but it never broke. Its curved trunk moved with the wind instead of fighting against it. The birds stayed safe. Then spring came. Warm sunlight reached the ground where the tall trees had once stood. Colorful flowers began to bloom around the crooked tree. Green grass covered the earth. Butterflies danced through the air. The forest slowly became full of life again. Months later, dark clouds covered the sky. A terrible storm arrived. Heavy rain fell without stopping. Strong winds pushed against every tree. The few straight trees that were still standing tried to resist the storm, but several of them cracked and fell. The crooked tree moved gently with the wind. It bent again and again, but it never fell. When morning came, the storm was over. The birds were safe. The baby birds were singing. Small animals came and rested under its branches. An old traveler, tired and wet from the storm, sat beneath the tree. He looked up with a smile. Then he softly said, "My friend, people think that perfect is always better. But today, you protected every life around you because you were different." The crooked tree became silent. It remembered every unkind word it had heard. It remembered every day it wished to be someone else. Now it finally understood. If it had been straight, it might have been cut down. If it had looked like every other tree, it might not have survived the storm. The very thing it had hated about itself had become its greatest strength. Years passed. The crooked tree became the heart of the forest. Every spring, birds returned to build their nests. Travelers rested under its shade. Children played around its roots. No one admired the tree because it was perfect. They loved it because it made others feel safe. And from that day on, the crooked tree never wished to be straight again. It had learned that true value does not come from looking perfect. It comes from helping others with what you already have. Keep it in mind that no one is perfect in life. The weaknesses you see in yourself today may become your greatest strength tomorrow. Never hate what makes you different, because one day it may become the reason someone else finds hope, safety, or happiness.